Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? This is Coach Paul. God has qualified me, and I'm bringing to y'all another one of these Move Monday episodes. Now, like I said, it's not a replacement of Kick Your Butt Out. It's an addition to, because after all, what are some of the butts that we need to move, kick out, or do whatever we need to do to get it out of our way so that we can move into the greatness that's within each and every one of us, as well as the extraordinary potential. That's what this is all about. And I'm going to say what I always say. Now, watch this, whether y'all believe it or not. If you don't take action, you'll see it show up in your life. And that is, if you don't move it, it's going to move you. 100%. I'm drinking a little tea, and I may sound a little congested. That's because I caught that bug that had been going around. However, the show must go on. So here we are, getting ready to get down. Now, so let's get off into what I want to talk about today. I had the pleasure and the honor of scrolling through my Instagram and running across a motivational speaker that I hear little clips from her every now and then. And a few times the clips, something in the clips that she said grabbed my attention. I had talked about it. I had talked about one of her clips where she had mentioned the first 5 seconds when you wake up, that's going to determine whether or not you're going to get up or hit the snooze button. She said you'll find that out within the first 5 seconds of waking up. If you get past that 5 seconds, more than likely you're going to get up and get to doing what it is that you're supposed to do for that day. And that stuck with me for many years. So maybe about a week and a half ago, going through my Instagram, come across something that she was in a conversation with some people, and I heard her say, "Stop saying I have anxiety," or "Stop saying my anxiety." And that struck me, that really stuck with me, right? It hit me because I had talked about words once before in one of my earlier episodes of Kick Your Butt Out. So I'm going to talk about it again today, because what I want to do is I'm 100% in agreement with what she said. And I just want to have some conversations around it again today and bring some awareness to the words that's coming out of our mouths. Chris Tucker loved the famous saying that he had in Rush Hour. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Well, my question right now is, do you understand the words that are coming out of your mouth? Because like my Bible says, life and death are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it will eat the fruit thereof. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. And the thing about it is, we around here just allowing words to come off of our tongues just because this is what society says, this is what the social platforms are saying, this is what the doctors are saying, this is what your circles of people is saying, this is what we are saying stuff because we are hearing everybody else saying it and not understanding that the words that are coming out of our mouths have the power of life and death attached to them. So I'm going to talk about some words. My number one, my depression. My depression. I hear people saying that so much, especially in the field that I work in, as well as just hearing people in general using it. My depression. Let me say this, y'all. Depression is real. It's a real thing. whether you want to, it's a real spirit or whatever you want to call it, right? Here is one of the reasons why depression sticks to us or stays on us so much or so strongly. It's because the word that we're using before depression, we are saying my, like it belongs to me. And watch this. When we take ownership of something, we're not inclined to easily let that thing go. Yep, y'all heard what I said. When we take, say for instance, let me use an example. If I came across you right now and you had your cell phone in your hand and I took that cell phone from you, there's going to be a problem because whose cell phone is it? Yours. What do you say? He took my cell phone, and you're going to do what you need to do to get that back, or you're going to do what you need to do to keep it. Am I correct? Absolutely. So think about some of these words that we're using in that same context, because it definitely means the same thing. Again, my depression. Who told you it was yours? The world? Social media, the doctors. Watch this. I said it in one of my other episodes. Depression does, again, like I said, depression is real because depression from time to time does come and knock on my door. But I choose not to answer it. And I never claim it as mine. I said, well, I feel depression coming on. And then I do what I need to do to make sure that thing don't take root in me or don't find a space in me to come and sit. Because after all, according to my spiritual beliefs, depression is a spirit. It's a demon. So, yes, depression is real. What I'm saying to us out there in Kick Your Butt Out land, in Move Mondays land, take the mouth of it. Because like I said, when we take ownership of something, it's going to be hard for us to let that thing go. No matter how, watch this. No matter how much God sends somebody around to try to help take that thing or get rid of that thing, when we own it, we're more inclined to try to do what we can to keep it. So that's one of the reasons why you are continuing to be overcoming depression is because you owning it. You saying it's yours. Here's another one I hear all the time. My anxiety. Well, my favorite book, which I choose to call the Bible, says God has not given us a spirit of fear. Now, fear is another word for anxiety. So if fear is a spirit, then anxiety is a spirit. And the reason why you can't get rid of it is because you claiming it as yours. Again, anxiety is real. It does come. What is, instead of saying my anxiety or running to get the medication for my anxiety, what anxiety is saying is that it's telling you something is going on, something is uneasy, something is unbalanced. I'm having what am I having a fear about? What's going on that I'm afraid of, or I'm scared of, or I'm fearful for? And it ain't yours. And one of the reasons why you can't get rid of anxiety is because you're claiming it as yours. Do you understand the words that are coming out of your mouth? Take my off of it. Because again, anxiety, just like depression, anxiety try to knock on my door, but I don't let it in. Because I got work to do. And I understand that, again, anxiety is another word for fear. And the acronym for fear in my field or in my life is false evidence appearing real. So I'm anxious about something that ain't even real. Watch this. Watch this. I'm anxious about something that I didn't conjured up in my mind that's real. And 9 times out of 10, it's 10% of what is 10% reality and 90% of what we've made it. And then you wonder why you can't get rid of anxiety. Number one, you claim it is yours. That's number one. You got to stop claiming that anxiety is yours. Again, it'll show up, but you'll never hear Paul. You will never hear Coach Paul claiming it as mine. Here's another one. My anger. My anger. You know why you can't get rid of anger? Because it's yours. And here's the crazy part about anger. Watch this. Let me give y'all some revelation. Hold on. Anger is a secondary emotion. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Anger does show up, but it shows up. It's a secondary emotion that shows up as a primary one. The primary emotion to anger is hurt and pain. And many of us are taught not to feel pain or hurt, and it comes out in the form of anger. So you claim it's something that you don't even have an understanding about. That's one of the reasons why you can't get rid of it. That's another thing that we do. We're running around here claiming something that we have no clue about. Do your research, do your work, do your homework. This thing, anger is not yours. That hurt and that pain, watch this. That's one of the reasons why many of us take so long to heal, because we really don't understand and know that the anger and the rage is really a cover up, right, for hurt and pain. What am I hurting about? What am I in pain from? And how do I allow myself to get that healed so I won't be angry? Excuse me, or rage, or being enraged. Another one, my PTSD. I grew up in the projects of Chicago. I do know and respect what PTSD is, but it's not mine. It's not mine. I had some PTSD that's healed now. That's healed now. When certain stuff happens, I don't go into tremors and I'm not Superman. I told y'all I spent 30 years in hell. Trust me. I spent 30 years in a life of darkness and madness. Yes. So I'm not telling you all that none of this stuff had control or rule over me, because I claimed some of these things, if not all of them, for many years of my life. However, I got the formula. I found out, and I changed that thing around. And I'm trying to help you find out and change that thing around as well. Because here's another. Watch this. Watch this. Some of y'all out there that are taking medications for these things don't even need them. I'm not saying that all y'all don't need them. Listen. I do believe in medication assisted treatment or healing. I do believe in that, because in some cases it is needed. But many of y'all out there who are taking medications for these things don't even need it. You just need to work through it and stop calling it yours. My PTSD. Again, yes, grew up in the city of Chicago. I saw a lot, been around a lot, did a lot, had some stuff going on. However, it's healed, and it never was mine. My stress is another thing. Yes, we stress. And 100% of the times when we stress, watch this, and listen, again, the reason why we can't get rid of it is because we claiming it as ours. And when we claim stuff as ours, again, we are less inclined to give it up or let it go. You're gonna have to pay something. You're gonna have to pay me something in return. And the thing about it is, the thing that God is trying to give us in return for all of that stuff, because we can't see it or hold it, we don't reach out for it. But if somebody giving us something that we can see and hold, we'll be more than willing to give it away. And that's just not the way it's gonna be, not with God. 100%. All right. Again, stress. 100% of the time when we stress, it's about something that's outside of us, something that we can't even control. Some person, some place, or something outside of us that we can't even control that we're stressing about, and we call it ours. That's why we can't overcome it. You know, in the recovery world or in the recovery community, they have what we call a serenity prayer. And it goes like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Listen, y'all, in many cases, to accepting the things that you cannot change is going to relieve a whole lot of stress. The courage to change the things I can, this is all I can change. This is all I'm in control of in terms of changing. So when watch this. When I see people that are out that I have no control over, because remember, y'all got to remember this. It was at a point in your life you didn't have control over you. So how you gonna have control over some other stuff and you didn't have control over yourself? So learn how to control you, and it'll relieve a lot of stress. But you got to take mind off of it too. Mind off of it as well. All right, my trauma. Yes, I was traumatized. Yes, I have traumatized people as well. It's not mine. I've watched this. I've healed from that trauma. Nope. If God says that by his stripes we are healed, if God says that he's the healer, why do you say that you have a relationship with God and you still got trauma? You still in trauma. It's because you claiming it as your own. Yes, I've been traumatized. I'm healed though, y'all. And I've never fixed my mouth to say my trauma. Never fixed my mouth to say my trauma. And I want to help you stop fixing your mouth to say trauma. Yes, trauma has come. Because watch this. If you have a physical trauma, some physical trauma, you're going to go to the hospital and get that thing healed, right? Okay. I don't even have to say the rest. My triggers. The reason why you continue to be triggered about the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, because it's yours. Because you claiming it as yours. And I'm trying to help us, y'all. Yes, I have had some triggers. And I mind. And you know, if you keep triggering me with the same thing, that says a whole lot about what I'm not doing. It doesn't say what you're doing. It says a whole lot about what I'm not doing. If I'm allowing the same thing to trigger me, or the same person to trigger me, the same place to trigger me over and over and over and over again, it says a whole lot about what's going on with me, and not the thing that's the trigger. And again, the first thing we got to do is stop claiming it as ours. Triggers do show up, but I'm not going to help you trigger me. If I know, the Bible says there's no temptation that has come upon you except that which is common to man. So the things that's triggers for you, they common to you. The things that, as the old school Christians say, the Southern Christians say, the things that get your goat are common to you. They're nothing new. So again, if these things are common to me and they continue to be a trigger for me, it says a whole lot about what I'm not working on. Number one, my triggers. My. And again, some of these things will lose its power simply by taking the my off of it. Some of them will. Some of them we're gonna have to do some work. Absolutely. 100%. We are going to have to do some work. However, some of them, their power is going to start to be released off of you when you take my off of it. Oh, here comes my favorite. Here comes my favorite. I hate this word. I hate this phrase so much. I'm wrestling with my demons. I'm fighting my demons, or my demon's this, or my demon's that. It's 66 books in the Bible. Not once and in my study of the Bible have I ever heard that God called them demons yours. But you're doing it because you heard them, everybody else saying it, even people in the church, my demons. Not once did God say them demons were yours or ours. Not once. Here's the other thing. I don't hear nobody running around talking about, I'm hanging out with my angels. I'm partnering with my angels. I don't hear nobody saying that, but I'm hearing lots of people in the church, people who believe in God of different walks of faith. I'm wrestling with my demons. That's why you wrestling with them, because they're yours. You claiming them. But again, never heard nobody say, I'm hanging out with my angels. We need to stop. Do you understand the words that are coming out of your mouth? One of the reasons why these demons are beating up on you, because you not letting them go. It's almost, I'll get to that later. But yes, I want to really dig in with this one. My demons. I'm wrestling with my demons. I'm fighting my demons. They not yours. Stop claiming them. That's why I talked about it on my last episode. When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, it goes to dry places seeking rest. And when it finds none, it says, I'll go back to that place from which I came from. That's why it's coming back. That's one of the reasons why. You know why? Because they're yours. You claiming them. We got to stop claiming these things. We got to take the mind off and understand that God didn't give nobody. I have read some scriptures where it says that, the angels encamped around this person, place, or a group of people. I have heard that, but I've never heard it in the Bible where God says, them your demons. Them your demons. Deal with them. Never heard that. And whoever you heard say that, stop saying it, y'all. Do you understand the words that are coming out of your mouth? Here's another one. Here's another one. It's okay to not be okay. 100%. It's okay to not be okay. Listen, people, one of the greatest hindrances of man, detriments of man, harms of man, is that we're such performers, we don't allow ourselves to be human. Yep, you heard it from Coach Paul. We are such performers that we don't allow ourselves to be human. And then we wonder why we depressed. We got anxiety, anger, PTSD, stress, trauma, fighting our demons. We wonder why all of this hell is breaking loose in our lives. And one of the reasons why is that we don't allow ourselves to be human. And so I want to help you. I'm going to help you be human today. It's okay to not be okay. Allow yourself to feel your pain. Allow yourself to feel your hurt. Allow yourself to feel your anguish. Allow yourself to be human and say, yes, PTSD is knocking on my door. Anxiety is knocking on my door. Depression is knocking on my door, or whatever. Yes, stop running around here like you too tough Tony, because you're not. When you got to play tough or play hard, that means you're not hard. See, when I grew up in the era, I grew up in the era and in a community where the tough people didn't play hard. You just knew that they was tough. They didn't play hard. The ones who played hard, we knew that they weren't tough at all. So you don't have to play hard and act like you okay all the time, because no one is okay all the time. Jesus wasn't even okay all the time, because he prayed to the point where his tears were like blood, the sweat was like blood on him. So he wasn't, and he remember, God, why have you forsaken me? So it was a couple of times where he wasn't even okay. So it's okay to not be okay. Watch this. It's not okay to stay not okay. That's where we get it wrong, Kat. Because too many of us, we go into our therapist's office, our counselor's office, our coach's office, and that's fine and dandy, because many of us need these levels of support, right? That's fine and dandy. But I don't need you to leave me where I was, because if I'm coming to you, I'm trying to get from A to B. I don't need to stay on A. So when as a coach, I talk to the people that my clients. Absolutely, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay. Get okay, okay? That's what this is about. Do you understand the words that are coming out of your mouth? Or do you understand the words that are coming out of these people's mouths? Misery loves company. And people speak about what they don't even know. And all this stuff, right? Again, I talked about what anxiety is. I talked about what anger is. I talked about some of these things in a little bit in depth. And the people who telling y'all about this, they ain't telling y'all what's really going on with anxiety, what's really going on with anger, and what's really going on with demons and all of this kind of stuff. They're not telling you all about that. They're not telling you that it's okay. It's not okay to stay not okay. They're not telling you that. I am. I'm going to tell you that, and I want to help us get off of this, because it reminds me. It reminds me of a story my dear friend Johnny told me about. He said it's a story about two men and a dog. And I talked about this once before. Again, I'm going to rebut this because somebody else may need to hear this. So the story about two men and a dog. It was this one guy, he would go on this fitness walk every day. And every day when he walked past this house. And this one house, It was always a man sitting on the porch in the rocking chair rocking, and it was always a dog laying right next to him. And the dog would be crying, whining. And so the man, out of curiosity, said, when I go tomorrow, I'm going to stop, introduce myself to that man, and I'm going to ask him about that dog. Why is that dog always crying? So true to his word. Next day, came back. Hey, how you doing, sir? My name is XYZ. The guy said, my name is ABC. And he said, sir, can I please ask you a question? Yes, you may. Why is the dog, I come past here every day, and this dog is always crying. Why is the dog always crying? The man replied, because he's sitting on a nail. And that's one of the things that we do when we stop at it's okay to not be okay. It's almost like we sitting on a nail. And he asked the guy, he said, why won't he get up? He said, because it's comfortable and he ain't had enough pain yet. Now, I want to go a little deeper with the story. So the man and the dog lived in the house that they was of the porch that they were sitting on, right? So that meant that man and that dog didn't stay on that porch 24 hours. Meaning that they came out of that house every day. That man sat in that same seat, that dog went and sat on that same nail. So to stay not okay is just like that. You are going willingly day after day after day after day after day and sitting on a nail, the same nail in the same spot. And it's causing you the same pain. So yes, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay. It's definitely not okay to stay not okay. And I need y'all, listen, I need y'all to stop saying, putting my owning these words, owning these things that's not yours, and wondering why you can't get rid of them. When you stop calling them yours, calling them for what they are, and knowing that God didn't give you no demons, he gave you angels. Period. Then things will start to change. Then you'll be able to move whatever out of the way so that we can walk in the greatness and the extraordinary potential that's within each and every one of us. This is how this thing works. This is how this thing works. So people out there in Move Monday's land, I gave it to you. Do you understand the words that are coming out of your mouth? Because death and life are in the power of the tongue. What you saying out your mouth is either going to bring life, death, health, or sickness. One of the two, light or darkness. You get to make that choice. I'm just giving you what's been helping me. I stopped claiming all that stuff. Everything that I claimed is mine. No, it's not. I'm not saying what's his name? Johnny Gill song, mine. I'm not saying that. That's not happening. That's not mine. Happiness is mine, joy is mine, healing is mine, right? Angels are mine. That's what I'm talking about. All of those, I'm claiming those in the name of Jesus. And I want to help you all do the exact same thing. So listen, y'all. I'm about to land this plane. Please, let's have some conversations around this one, because I want to know, do you understand the words that are coming out of your mouth? I would love to know, and I would love it for us to help one another change our vocabulary so that our vocabulary can bring about healing and life for each and every, healing, life, greatness, and extraordinary potential for each and every one of us. Hey, y'all, this is Coach Paul. I love every last one of y'all. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Until next time, be well. Do the next right thing. God bless you all. And if you're looking for a butt, it's going to always be easy to find one. See y'all next time. Deuces.